good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. I forgot my water. Might have to go get more water. Well, I hope everyone is having a great day. I am. Hi, Lily. Thank you for waking up for my live stream. Today is a special day. Well, I should say tomorrow is a special day. I work all day tomorrow. Cleaning off my glasses. So it is a meeting. I put in there the link to come up on panel if you would like. I would like to see your face so that way I can verify it's you. But today is a different kind of meeting. My sponsor, she messaged me earlier today. She's like, I want to be the first to tell you. And because I work tomorrow, so she told me a day early, which is why I'm doing this all a day early. Let me clean the camera. I don't know if that did any good, but hopefully it did. Anyways, yeah. It's been a long time. Well, this is a meeting. Anyways, I'm Sandra, and I'm an alcoholic. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So, I quit drinking 11 years ago tomorrow. The only reason I'm doing a meeting today is because I work tomorrow. So, I decided to go ahead and do it a day early. I didn't think I would even make it to 1 year. But anyways, I got to. Thank you, Lily. I gotta go over the steps, and maybe I'll add in the traditions today. The book's upside down. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe Five, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. I don't know why I got tongue-tied on that one. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7, humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And the traditions. I don't know these ones by heart yet. 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon unity, or upon AA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. 3. The only requirement for AA membership is desire to stop drinking. 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprises, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9. AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11. Our public relation policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Now that part I remember by heart. It was one of the first things that I heard when I started going to AA, was exactly that tradition. And so I have been sober for 11 years tomorrow. And I don't think that I would be sitting here doing these meetings to this day if it was not for my friend saying, why don't you meet me at a meeting? I went there solely to meet my friend, and that was it. I didn't think that I would have any part of partaking in anything that they were doing. Well, as you can tell, 11 years later, I still believe in AA. I still use my steps. I still practice all the principles. And I do still have the normal human traits of, getting mad and all those things, but my feelings are legitimate and they're real, not masked with the alcohol. So if I'm upset about something, I'm really upset about it. Or if I'm sad over something, I'm really sad. That's truly my feelings. And I remember when I was drinking, I could do all those feelings in a matter of 10 minutes. And me now being able to sit back and say, all right, this is what I can do today. If I get it done today, great. If I don't beat myself up over it, you know? And I don't have to have the alcohol to mask my depression, my anxiety, and all of those things that lead us to give in to being that alcoholic. Because growing up, I did drink off and on through my teens. My parents know that. I've always told them that, especially since I got sober. But they knew I was an alcoholic before I did, even. But that's what we don't understand about family, is they see what we don't want to admit of being an alcoholic or an addict. But we do see it. I have both in my family and my friends have been on those levels, some at the same time. And the good thing is that there are these meetings that people can go to and not be judged in, and relate to the people in the rooms and relate to the people being a stranger. Admit that you have a problem is the hardest problem that we face. But once we get over that, it all comes into place of following that step of staying sober and having your program to help guide you through it with some help and make you not alone and feel alone. Because for me, when I got to that point of full-blown alcoholic, I didn't care who I affected, who I hurt, as long as I had that drink or those drinks. And I did the binging, I did the cutting back, I did the only drinking this and only drinking that, and it doesn't work. It does not work that way. You have to quit it all. And it takes a while, and sometimes it takes more than once, and sometimes we just don't get it. And the ones who still suffer from the addiction and the alcohol, they just need to know that there are people like them that can help, that are willing to help. And a lot of them don't know that. A lot of them don't know that your family is just a call away. And sometimes they don't make it out. And I don't say that from no experience, because I do have experience of people that don't get out, that have ended up on the gone side. And it's scary. And I just having those things as reality just makes it more that I am going to stay sober. I'm going to work my step and work my program and let people know when I'm having a problem. And I thank my sponsor, my sponsees, and y'all know who you are, of being here on my journey of sobriety and allowing me to share my experience and my sobriety story with all of you and be able to help others to become sober and work their steps and work their program and know that they can make it, and it makes me want to continue being sober for myself first. And I have these people that I need to be an example for of using the program to my advantage of being sober. And so what I've done for my sponsees is anytime that I have had somebody who has wanted to get sober, now, yes, I have family members, like I said, who needed the help getting to that point to where they're ready to let it go and ask for help. And I know in that time it's not easy for them to admit to somebody else that they have the same problem. I mean, 11 years ago, I will never forget walking in that room and seeing all these people in this room. And mind you, I went to a little town meeting, and I knew that there was a possibility that I knew other people there. But I didn't know that this would help me. I didn't know that these people could definitely relate to me. And so after that first meeting, I stood around and talked to my friend for a while, and I was like, well, maybe we could come again. And that friend said, yeah, we could. And so I called people on the list that could possibly tell me when the next meeting was. And I usually only text people, and I actually made the phone calls. And so the third person I called was who became my sponsor, my first sponsor and still my sponsor. And I thank her all the time for always being here. Anytime that I've needed to talk to her, she has answered her phone. It doesn't matter what she's doing at that time, I can call her. She's busy, that's why she's not here. But I know what it is to be a sponsor, because my sponsor has showed me how to be a sponsor. And it's being compassionate with somebody and understanding that they need that help, and no matter what, we cannot overwhelm the newcomer with bombarding, you have to do this, you have to do that, and all that stuff. And not everybody that you help is going to be your friend or stay in contact. I've had that happen too. And now I don't even know where that family member is. But I can't control anybody but me and what I'm doing in my life. I see you there. Now I see your comments. You hung up on me. Call him back. Thank you. But I just want AA to be spread everywhere because of the gift that they've given me of my sobriety. And my sponsor has taught me how to deal with those bad moments, overwhelming moments. I almost quit my job last week, but I was like, whatever, just go with the flow, right? Just go with the flow. Live and let live. It will be what it will be. All of those. And that's the truth. Because you can't control what's going on around you. You can only control how you react to the situation. I am not perfect by any means. Not perfect. But I've learned that when I get into those irritated moods, I have to take a breath and just say whatever. I hate doing that, but I like to argue about things that I am passionate about my own opinions. And when people try to talk over me on my opinions, I get really upset, so then I have to leave. Unless if it's my home. Because if it's my home, then I just go to a different room. Oh, good. I hope you're doing well. Hope it helped the issues. But being 11, I never thought that I would be even past 1. Okay? And that's because I was a newcomer and didn't think it would work. And exactly, you can only control your attitude and your actions. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense to just get too pissed off about something. And another person from my meetings always said, always have an escape route. Always. And so since then, I like to have my car if I'm going somewhere. Because if I gotta go, I gotta go. And I'm not going to be stuck somewhere. Yeah, I bet you're sore. I think, don't you have to do physical therapy now? Once you're healed, I mean. Don't rush it. But you have to, in your sobriety, you got to just keep yourself in control of yourself. You can't control anything else. You like my reel, come watch it. But anyways, I just gotta thank my I'm talking to Hugh. Had surgery. Oh, your stomach again. Okay. So I'm going to read a little bit of chapter 9, The Family Afterward. Lily says, hello, brother. And in my book, it's 122. I'm going to read a little bit of the book because that's what we do. The family afterward. Our women folk have suggested certain attitudes a wife may take with the husband who is recovering. Now, this is vice versa. They're coming out with a new one, so hold on, it's coming. Perhaps they created the impression that he is to be wrapped in cotton wool and placed on a pedestal. Successful readjustment means the opposite. All members of the family should meet upon the common ground of tolerance, understanding, and love. This involves a process of deflation. The alcoholic, his wife, his children, his in-laws, each one is likely to have fixed ideas about the family's attitude towards himself or herself. Each is interested in having his own way, having his or her wishes respected. Sorry, I just decided to put whatever words I wanted to in there for a second. We find the more one member of the family demands that the other concede to him, the more resentful they become. This makes for discord and unhappiness. And why? Is it not because each wants to play the lead? Is not each trying to arrange the family show to his liking? Is he not unconsciously trying to see what he can take from the family life rather than give? Cessation of drinking is but the first step away from a highly strained, abnormal condition. A doctor said to us, years of living with an alcoholic is almost sure to make any wife or child neurotic. Their entire family is, to some extent, ill. Let families realize as they start their journey that all will not be fair weather. Each in his turn may be footsore or may struggle. There will be alluring shortcuts and bypaths down which they may wander and lose their way. Suppose we tell you some of the obstacles a family will meet. Suppose we suggest how they may be avoided, even converted to good use for others. The family of an alcoholic longs for the return of happiness and security. They remember when father was romantic, thoughtful, and successful. Today's life is measured against that of other years, and when it falls short, the family may be unhappy. Family confidence in dad is raising high. The good old days will soon be back, they think. Sometimes they demand that dad bring them back instantly. God, they believe, almost owes this recompense on a long overdue account. But the head of the house has spent years in pulling down the structure of business, romance, friendship, health. These things are now ruined or damaged. It will take time to clear away the wreck. Though old buildings will eventually be replaced, by finer lines. The new structures will take years to complete. Father knows he is to blame. It may take him many seasons of hard work to restore financially, but he shouldn't be reproached. Perhaps he will never have much money again, but the wise family will admire him for what he is trying to be, rather than for what he is trying to get. Now and then, the family will be plagued by specters from the past. For the drinking career of almost every alcoholic has been marked by escapades, funny, humiliating, shameful, and tragic. The first impulse will be to bury these skeletons in a dark closet and padlock the door. The family may be possessed by the idea that future happiness can be based only upon forgetfulness of the past. We think that such a view of self-centered and in direct conflict with the new way of living. Henry Ford once made a wise remark to the effect that experience is the thing of supreme value in life. That is true only if one is willing to turn the past to good account. We grow by our willingness to face and rectify errors and convert them into assets. The alcoholic's past thus becomes the principal asset of the family, and frequently it is almost the only one. This painful past may be of infinite value to other families still struggling with their problem. We think each family which has been relieved owes something to those who have not. And when the occasion requires, each member of it should be only too willing to bring former mistakes, no matter how grievous, out of their hiding places. Showing others who suffer how we were given help is the very thing which makes life seem so worthwhile to us now. Cling to the thought that in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have, the key to life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery from them. It is possible to dig up past misdeeds so that they become a blight, a veritable plague. For example, we know of situations in which the alcoholic or his wife have had love affairs. In the first flush of spiritual experience, they forgave each other and drew closer together. The miracle of reconciliation was at hand. Then, under one provocation or another, the aggrieved one would unearth the old affair and angrily cast its ashes about. A few of us have had these growing pains, and they hurt a great deal. Husbands and wives have sometimes been obliged to separate for a time until new perspective, new victory over hurt pride could be re-won. In most cases, the alcoholic survived this ordeal without relapse, but not always. So we think that unless some good and useful purpose is to be served, past occurrences should not be discussed. We families of Alcoholics Anonymous keep few skeletons in the closet. Everyone knows about the other's alcoholic trouble. This is a condition which in ordinary life would produce untold grief. There might be scandalous gossip, laughter at the expense of other people, and a tendency to take advantage of intimate information. Among us, these are rare occurrences. We do talk about each other a great deal, but we almost invariably temper such talk by a spirit of love and tolerance. Another principle we observe carefully is that we do not relate intimate experiences of another person unless we are sure he would approve. We find it better, when possible, to stick to our own stories. A man may criticize or laugh at himself, and it will affect others favorably, but criticism or ridicule coming from another often produces the contrary effect. Members of a family should watch such matters carefully, for one careless, inconsiderate remark has been known to raise the very devil. We alcoholics are sensitive people. It takes some of us a long time to outgrow that serious handicap. Many alcoholics are enthusiasts. They run to extremes. At the beginning of recovery, a man will take At the beginning of recovery, a man will take as a rule one of two directions. He may either plunge into a frantic attempt to get on his feet in business, or he may be enthralled by his new life that he talks or thinks of little else. In either case, certainly family problems will arise. With these, we have had experience galore. We think it dangerous if he rushes headlong at his economic problem. The family will be affected also pleasantly at first, as they feel their money troubles are about to be solved. Then not so pleasantly as they find themselves neglected. Dad may be tired at night and preoccupied by day. He may take small interest in the children and may show irritation when reproved for his delinquencies. If not irritable, he may seem dull and boring, not gay and affectionate. In other words, happy and affectionate, as the family would like him to be. Mother may complain of intention. They are all disappointed and often let him feel it. Beginning with such complaints, a barrier arises. He is straining every nerve to make up for lost time. He is striving to recover fortune and reputation and feels he is doing very well. Sometimes mother and children don't think so, having been neglected and misused in the past. They think father owes them more than they are getting. They want him to make a fuss over them. They expect him to give them the nice times they used to have before he drank so much, and to show his contrition for what they suffered. But Dad doesn't give freely of himself. Resentment grows. He becomes still less communicative. Sometimes he explodes over a trifle. The family is mystified. They criticize, pointing out how he is falling down on the spiritual program. This sort of thing can be avoided. Both father and the family are mistaken. Through each side may have some justification. It is of little use to argue and only makes the impasse worse. The family must realize that Dad, though marvelously improved, is still convalescing. They should be thankful he is sober and able to be of this world once more. Let him praise his progress. Let them remember that his drinking brought all kinds of damage that may take long to repair. If they sense these things, they will not take so seriously his periods of crankiness, depression, or apathy, which will disappear when there is tolerance, love, and spiritual understanding. I'm going to stop there. So, love and tolerance. Hello, Heather. Love and tolerance is not easy to put up with an alcoholic, recovering alcoholic, because yes, we are still in that selfish state of mind when we're first coming to being sober. We have still that one-track mind of, I gotta do this, I gotta get this right, I gotta, it's still racing, but it's not racing the alcohol, it's racing on something else, which is how we firstly get over the alcohol problem. But we don't ever really fully get rid of the alcohol problem because it's always there for the rest of your life. And that's where some people get confused. And the thing is once an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. And some people don't realize that, and they say, oh, well, it's been X amount of time, I can go ahead and drink and I'll be fine. Let me tell you, I'm here to tell you from experience, it don't work like that. Because I got sober before AA. And, all it took was that one drink, and I was right back down to where I'd already come from. Because I didn't have a program and I hadn't been sober long enough to just go ahead and have that drink and thinking, oh, I'll be fine. Oh, boy, was I wrong. And once I started doing AA and working my program and doing my steps and being the sober person that I have strived to be my whole entire life, but I went down that alcoholic road that I fought to not go on. And I still have my problems with blaming other people for things that make me mad, that only I can help myself to not be mad. I do still just, my husband is a recovering addict and I'm a recovering alcoholic. So we both have the same thing, but he's been able to stay sober without having meetings. Not everybody can do that. He's been sober for 25 years. Amazing. No, he's been sober for almost 29. Right? No, it's been 29. He got sober in September of 1996. I remember. But when we got together, I knew that we did drink together, but I was the dumb one and got totally blitzed and threw up on a rock. Sorry, I know it's a lot of detail, but it's a meeting. I painted a boulder with all the alcohol I had consumed, and I have no clue how much I had consumed that night. But at the same time that I was doing that, he was in the back of the woods smoking a joint. And that was my, oh, I know now that he had that problem. Because at that time, it was illegal. Now it's not, and he don't smoke it. But he had a problem when we got together. He fixed his problem without help. He can still be a butt sometimes, but when you're married, you get your arguments. But since I have learned how to have patience and tolerance, even when I am the recovering alcoholic, I still have to know how to do that because I have to give love and be tolerant of others. In other words, I need to control myself. Just me. And I can't tell him he has to go to programs, he has to do this, he has to do that. Just the same as he's never told me that I had to go get help. That was on me. I decided on my own that I needed to take this friend of mine, and he knows who he is, saying, meet me at a meeting. And I thank that person all the time here on my meetings. I thank that person from the bottom of my heart for getting me to start AA. No matter what, I owe myself sobriety, number one. I cannot control anything that goes on around me, especially if I'm not sober, if that makes sense to you all. It's like I tell my sponsees when they first ask me anything about it, I'm always telling them, you cannot take care of somebody else if you are not taking care of you first. So you first have to make that choice of getting sober and staying sober in order to be able to help and take care of those other people. And that's what AA has taught me, is to help others with this gift that I've been giving for free. Hence why I do it on Facebook and YouTube, because it's free. And I was at work last weekend. I think it was Sunday. I was at work. I'm just heading to the time clock to clock out. And this person has been right next to me for the past couple weeks. And we chat a little bit. We really have to mind our own business, but because we're constantly moving at work. But once in a while I'll stop and I'll see what he's working on and see if he needs any help, just like everybody does that for everybody. And so we were walking out, and I don't know why, but I just have a knack for saying, I even did it today to a guy that came and did an inspection on the apartment. I was like, next week, Saturday, is my 11th sobriety birthday. He's like, awesome. He says, I've got 3 years. I was like, wow. And then he goes, I've got like 7 years from the other stuff. And I was like, awesome. So, same thing with the other building that I was working in. One of them has become my best friend. She's like a sister. The first job I had after getting sober was camp hosting. And the boss and her husband, we became really good friends. And she was all okay with it. And if I felt like I couldn't pick up alcohol bottles, then just leave it and somebody else would pick them up. Another coworker, she was an elderly lady, not way elderly, but she's passed on. But she was also a recovering alcoholic, and she became a really, really close friend of mine. And I don't know how she did it, but she always knew, just even by the way I text her, she knew if I was having a good day or if I was having a bad day, and she would just automatically ask me what is wrong, and I wouldn't even say anything at all beforehand. And she was one that always told me to find my voice and use it for this purpose. And I get it. I get it. Once I started actually paying attention in the meetings and listening with open mind is when I got my aha, so this is how it's supposed to work. I get that. I get I have to help me, and then I help somebody else. Because if I don't work my program, I can't expect somebody else to work theirs. And I work mine every day. Every single day. I'm always like in my head. If I get upset over something, I'll have to stop for a minute and go, wait a minute, I need to chill it. So I call myself out, But, I mean, I have AA in the rooms to thank for that, and my family, and my friends, and my supporters who have been there for me since I decided to quit drinking and letting me help others to achieve their goal of being sober. And y'all, I'm getting ready for a 5K. Yep. I ain't gonna run it. I'm gonna walk it, but I'm gonna do a 5K. That's my goal for next summer, spring or summer. So I've been doing walking for that, and yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Lord's Prayer and let you guys have the rest of your day. Thank you for helping me celebrate today, which is supposed to be tomorrow. But yeah, I got this. And if you're struggling with alcohol or addiction, please know that you're not alone, that there is help everywhere. If you need a meeting, look them up. If you need somebody to talk to, you can talk to a stranger. You can talk to anybody in a room. There are phone numbers and there are meetings everywhere for alcohol and addiction, and counselors for both. And I'm just lucky I was able to go through my withdrawal process at home. Some of us can't, and they need a rehab. And once they go to rehab and they start working their program and start understanding that they are a good human and they can do this, it's worth it. And that's what I always tell everybody, is it's worth it. Every single day that you struggle, it is worth it being sober. I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for being sober and working my steps and having those rooms to help me get through them and being able to share my journey with you guys. So, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us on earth. Amen. I love you guys. Be good humans. And remember, you're not alone, and you are worth it. Love you guys.